Good afternoon from Edmonton International Airport. My name is Alex and welcome to a very special trip report. Today's a big day for Canada's Flair Airlines. They're launching revenue flights with a brand new aircraft type for them, the Boeing 737 MAX. Back in January, Flair announced that they'd be adding 13 Boeing 737 MAX 8s to the fleet, and the first one was delivered to them at the end of May. The second and third aircraft have also been delivered, as of the time of uploading, with many more to come. Flair is headquartered right here in Alberta's capital city, so it's no surprise that they're launching passenger flights with the MAX from here. This first revenue MAX flight for Flair will be a 3.5-hour hop over to Toronto. Now, I actually got to Edmonton several hours early that day because, well, let's just say Flair put on one heck of a show. Although I did pay for my own ticket and seat on board the flight, Flair and EIA were generous enough to invite me airside to watch the aircraft do those celebratory low passes, along with a water cannon salute. After that amazing photo opportunity and privilege, he was off to Executive Flight Center, where the aircraft was on display for a media event. Charlie Foxtrot Lima Echo Juliet is the first of many 737 MAXs to be delivered to Flair, and first flew in 2019. Although it's technically just under 2 years old, Flair is the very first operator of this aircraft. This, along with most other Flair MAXs, are all white-tail aircraft, meaning their original customer never took the planes or ceased operations before they were delivered, as is the case with the likes of Jet Airways and Air Italy. That's also why the winglets are painted white for now. From what I understand, that was due to the delivery schedule, and the fourth MAX onwards will all have that classic Flair green. The registration also seems like a nod to Flair's prior history, seeing as Foxtrot Lima Echo Juliet was formerly a 737-400 with the brown paint. And honestly, watching Flair go from a charter operator with the older 737-400s to this in just a few years is pretty cool to watch. Everyone also got a chance to walk through the plane, but I'll show you the interior in more detail a bit later on. Meanwhile, back in the terminal, there was even more to come at Gate 62, which, I have to say, might be the nicest one here in Edmonton. I could do without the double-paned windows, but after getting to nerd out around the plane for 2 hours or so, I think I've got more than enough angles.
Welcome everybody, welcome to Flair Airlines Flight 445 to Toronto. My name's Stephen Jones, I'm the Chief Executive and President of Flair Airlines, and I'm really proud that all of you are going to join us on what is the first flight on our brand new Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. It's a very special moment for us, and we're very privileged to have you joining us on this today. Flair Airlines is beginning a very rapid growth period, and this aircraft is the first of many that will be joining our fleet. Our plan is to get to 50 aircraft within 5 years, so when you think about the speed of that growth, it's going to be a really significant change to the Canadian airline industry. It's been a huge journey to get us to this point. It's been many, many months of lots and lots of people working, and so I want to thank in particular all of the Flair team that have been working on this around the clock. And 1, 2, 3, let's go!
With that, let's go check out the Flair Airlines 737 MAX. Flair Airlines has 189 seats on their 737 MAXs in their usual all-economy configuration. 737 MAXs all come with Boeing Sky Interior as standard, and it never fails to impress. These grey seats all look pretty stylish, although the cabin might look even better with a bit of Flair green. And yes, the new airplane smell is still there. My seat over to Toronto today is 16A in the second overwing exit row. Those of you who followed me for a while now know that I've got quite long legs, so given the occasion, I paid a bit extra for more space to actually enjoy the flight. Normally I'd sit further up for a better view looking back at the engine, but this is one of Flair's longer routes. If this were a shorter flight like Edmonton to Vancouver, I'd definitely tough it out in another seat. The exit row proved to be a wise decision this time around though, since I was the only one in the entire row. That being said, a good friend of mine, Downwind Aviation, was sitting further up and managed to film the engine view with my GoPro anyway, so a big thank you to him. Do go check out his channel for some more angles of this flight coming up.
Welcome aboard, you guys. It was great to welcome you in at the gate and tell you about all the growth plans that Flair's got. Today I just wanted to do one extra thing, which was to welcome and thank our amazing crew that are going to take us here today, the gate crew. Thank you guys so much. Our pilots at the front, Harold and Matt, that are going to take us here. I want you all to have a bit of fun with the flight, enjoy the moment, and thanks again Boeing for building such a beautiful aircraft. I want you all to take comfort from the fact that this aircraft burns 15% less gas than the similar 737 older generation. And with that 17% less gas means 17% less CO2 emissions. So you are flying on the greenest airline in Canada. So join the green revolution, and thank you for flying with Flair.
I'll take my usual closer look around the cabin once we're in the air. In the meantime, please enjoy this stormy takeoff from Edmonton off of runway 02. After a fair bit of cloud surfing and a few bumps on the way out, let's take a look around the seat. As you'd expect, there's a fairly sturdy tray table that slides out for some extra reach. The seat back pocket is also reasonably large, with plenty of space to store loose items. In the seat back pocket is an air sickness bag and the safety card, which covers both the 737-800 plus the MAX 8. In normal times, Flair would also have a buy on board menu here too. The selection, at least from what I recall from January 2020, was pretty decent. Unfortunately, Flair isn't offering any sort of buy on board food or drink service at the moment, owing to COVID, but they did at least make an announcement about that in the terminal, so it wasn't a surprise. These exit row seats do also have movable armrests, so I really had a ton of stretching room. Each seat also has a reading light plus an air vent. As we were boarding, as another bonus, every passenger actually got a gift bag with some goodies inside from Flair and Boeing. In the bag was a Flair Airlines hat, a Boeing lanyard, some EIA branded peppermints, a 737 pen, a Flair Max postcard, along with some chocolates, granola bites, Pringles, and this Flair and Boeing branded water bottle. With those snacks from Flair, plus the stuff I brought with me, and all of this extra space, I was really comfortable. Unfortunately though, the in-flight entertainment, which is accessed through the aircraft's Wi-Fi, just wasn't working. Flair does have an app for it that you can download, and I was looking forward to seeing it work for myself, but I'll try it another time. Shortly after I filmed those clips though, the seatbelt sign came back on as we passed through a pretty big area of turbulence. It lasted a surprisingly long time given we were all the way up at 41,000 feet, but honestly it felt to me like a normal day flying around Calgary in the Cessna. Like I said before, there are 189 seats on Flair's 737 MAXs. The extra legroom options for the vertically gifted include the first row, along with the exit rows in rows 15 and 16. I did try out a normal seat for myself for comparison, and it is a little tight. That said, most people aren't 6'8", so if you're not a walking skyscraper like me, you'd probably be just fine. Again though, I think I'd tough it out for a shorter flight, maybe a Calgary to Vancouver one. I just can't get enough of those LEAP engines. The rear lavatories on Flair's MAXs actually aren't too bad. They might look a bit tight, but the lights are super bright and the mirrors do help with the illusion. Pretty soon though, the sun began to set, with some spectacular views out the windows. Now obviously, here's where painted winglets would really come in handy, but with Flair's aggressive expansion plans, I think they're just happy to have the planes flying in time. Even as I'm editing this the day after the flight, both the first and second MAXs have flown multiple flights already. It seems safe to say that this summer will be a pretty busy one for Flair. It wasn't long after the sunlight faded that the lights of the Greater Toronto area came into view, and we began our final descent. Here's our arrival into Pearson, landing on runway 05. So, that was the inaugural flight of Flair's 737 MAX, and what a day it was. I'd estimate today's flight was about 40% full, though it's worth mentioning that this flight left just 2 hours after another one heading to Toronto. Flair's MAX seats are pretty comfortable, and even with the cost of the extra legroom seats, this was genuinely a pretty cheap flight. I'm really thankful to Flair for the opportunity to be airside with them for the occasion, especially standing right in front of that water salute. That was a really special moment I won't forget. Thinking back to my first flight with Flair in 2018 on their 737-400, I don't think I could have imagined them flying some 737 MAXs just 3 years later. Even when they added their first 737-800s, MAXs didn't seem like something they'd be able to get for a while. It's safe to say that they and their investors at 777 Partners jumped on a great opportunity to get some very competitive airplanes. I was also surprised at the extent that Flair went to commemorate the occasion. The low passes, water salute, media event, gift bags, kudos to them for pulling it off, especially during COVID. Speaking of putting on a show though, there was one last surprise in store. I didn't know this before we left, but they had actually planned another water salute here in Toronto. Honestly, just what a great day to welcome this new aircraft to the fleet. I wish Flair the very best of luck with this expansion of theirs, and I'm looking forward to seeing more green in the sky. Thank you so much for watching this special video with Flair Airlines. I've been looking forward to making this video for a while, so hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did flying it. Take care, and I'll see you next time.